Hey guys, welcome back to TomZane.us. Today I'll be talking about the medium build PC. If you're interested in building a new computer, maybe for just a little light gaming, stick around for the details. Now, before I get into the little details regarding the specifications for this computer, I just want to bring to your attention that this computer build, as of today, will be about $523, not including shipping. If you buy it from Newegg or Amazon, big vendors, they usually ship it for free. So anyways, let's get on to the specifics. For the CPU, we'll be using the AMD Phenom 2 X2. That's dual core. It's running at 3.2 gigahertz, and the model number is 555, Black Edition. And it features 6 megabytes of L3 cache, and L2 cache has two 512 kilobytes, so that's 1 megabyte. And it supports almost all of the new technologies. It supports virtualization, so if you want to run, say, another operating system like Mac OS X on your PC, this CPU will allow you to do that. And if you want to run, Linux or Ubuntu on your system, a dual boot, this CPU will allow you to do that as well. This CPU runs at about 80 watts. It's pretty average for AMD CPUs. AMD CPUs usually take a little bit more power, but again, it's running at 3.2 gigahertz. And the reason I'm choosing this CPU over, say, a 4-core is because obviously, most of the time, most applications actually only uses up to 2 cores. Most people think the other way that the more cores you have, the better results you get. That's rarely the case, unless if you're like me, who uses a lot of Adobe Premiere software or Adobe Photoshop. Those Adobe softwares tend to use more than 2 cores, but for most applications and even games, only uses up to 2 cores. So you're much better. You get much better results when you have a higher clock rate at each of the cores up to 2 cores than if you have like something like 3 gigahertz with 4 cores, because the last 2 cores, your common applications won't be able to use them. So it's much more efficient and much more money saving by using 2 cores with 2 faster cores. So the only way that you would beat this situation is if you have another dual core that's running operating frequency at a higher than 3.2 gigahertz. And for the motherboard, we'll be using ASRock, as we did with our budget build. ASRock, as I mentioned in the budget build, is actually a very, very solid company. They are a little branch-off company of Asus, and we all heard about Asus. They're the best in motherboards, and they're also catching up in sound cards and video cards, and they make some really nice monitors and laptops these days as well. So, getting back to the subject, we're using ASRock M3A 770DE, and 770 obviously refers to the chipset that is on board. The Northbridge chipset is using the AMD 770, and it fully supports AM3 sockets. So if you're running Athlon 2 or Phenom 2, this motherboard will fully support those. And also supports the Sempron 100 series, but I haven't seen too much people using those CPUs anymore. And it will support CPUs up to 140 watts. Just to give you an idea, my 6-core my AMD 6-core Phenom 2 1090T only uses about 85 watts. And the memory, this motherboard supports up to 16 gigabytes. It supports fully DDR3 1600 dual channel. It has 2 PCI Express 2s, and also has 3 PCI slots. Let me just double check that. Yes, it does. It has 3 PCI slots. It has, let's see, it has 4 SATA connectors. It supports SATA 3 gigabytes per second. That's the SATA 2.0 instead of SATA 3.0, so be sure to look for that. The hard drive we'll be using is also, I believe, is also let me double check. Actually, the hard drive we'll be using is a 6 gig, which is SATA 3.0. So if you guys want to upgrade the motherboard, go ahead. But I just picked it for this build because I think the little performance there won't be very visible. And it comes with onboard audio, obviously supports up to 8 channels, and it has 4 USB 2 connectors instead of USB 3, but again, there's very few USB 3.0s out there. And this is a ATX power form, so this is the motherboard we'll be using for this build. And so the memory we'll be using for this build is obviously, again, G.Skill, as we did with our budget build. G.Skill, as I mentioned in the budget build video, is one of the leading producers now of memory. It used to be dominated by Corsair and Crucial and Kingston, but now the playfield is much more toward, the table has turned much toward G.Skill due to their customer service and quality, and just everything's so good. I've been using them for 5 years or 6 years or even 7 years, basically throughout later part of my high school and the rest of my college years. Never had a single memory fault. Never had a single memory problem ever with G.Skill. So we'll be using G.Skill Ripjaw series 4 gigabytes. That's 2x2 modules. You get 2 sticks, 2 gigabytes each, and it's a DDR3 1600. So it's the maximum that the motherboard will support. Pretty good price, so that is why I picked that. And this is the memory we'll be using for this build. And for the video card, we'll be using the XFX HD 685X ZNDC Radeon HD 6850 1GB 256-bit DDR5 PCI Express. That's a really long, a real mouthful, to be honest with you. But anyways, what that means is we'll be using the ATI, or rather AMD ATI Radeon 6850. It's a very, very popular card. It's a very popular mid-range to higher mid-range level. It's very cheap for the amount of performance it brings. It's just the performance to price ratio is just very, very good for this video card. I personally had one before I had to sell it in exchange for a GeForce GTX 460. That's the thing that's running in my computer right now, because I have to do a lot of video processing, and unfortunately Adobe Premiere only supports GeForce series from NVIDIA currently for hardware acceleration, and I was really reluctant to let my Radeon go, but Radeon in terms of performance actually scored a little bit higher than my current GTX 460, which is priced at about $40 to $50 more than the Radeon. So if you're not doing any video processing work, and I'm talking about serious HD processing, video processing, not like just watching Blu-rays or whatever. If you're not doing any of those hardcore video processing and you're just needing this PC for gaming, by all means go for the Radeon. But if you're doing some video processing, think about changing to GeForce, because that's the only thing that Adobe supports. And for the PSU, or the power supply unit, we'll be using OCZ Mod-X Stream Pro 500 watts. It's 80% plus. What that means is it's 80% efficient plus, and always when you look for power supplies, you want to look for that. And when you buy power supplies, please do not go cheap. As I mentioned in my budget build, if you want to save money, if you want to save money on your PC, it's totally understandable, but do not go cheap on the power supply, because you'll ending up regretting it the day when it dies. When the PSU dies, it affects a lot of things. One of the major things is all the stuff that's connected to it, and that's basically all your PC, your motherboard, CPU, memory stick, all the external drives, hard drives, everything you can think of, your graphics card. So never go cheap on your power supply. So for this build, and always look for a credible, known producer or manufacturer of power supply, and OCZ happens to be one of them. And I actually personally use a different model of OCZ. I use a Fatality series, and it's been serving me really, really well. And it's running my PC, which is a 6-core and 16 gigs and GTX 460, and I only have 550. So 500 is plenty for this medium build, and this is what we're going to use for this build. And for the hard drive, we'll be always using, well, not always, but in this case, we'll be using Western Digital. Western Digital, as I explained earlier in my, budget PC, they are like the Toyota and hard drives. Now, they are not just like Toyota, they are like Toyota and Lexus. Well, Lexus is now owned by Toyota, so I guess it is kind of like Toyota, but let me explain here. Just like Toyota has its own different models, you got the Toyota normal ones for the lower medium end, and you have Lexus for the little above medium end. Western Digital offers the same model types. Western Digital has the green version, has the blue version, and it has the black version. And you might have already guessed it right. The black version is a little bit to the upper end. It's not the most upper end. Those are Velociraptors, but these are the, pretty close to the upper end. It's the Performance series. They are priced a little bit higher than their, counterparts in blue and green series. But these do offer a lot of performance, and this is why I picked this. Obviously the medium build. I want to make sure everybody who wants to play games get their needs taken care of. And when you play games, you really need some solid hard drive because it'll take forever for you to load the game. You might get killed by a monster or big boss if you lag just a little bit. And to all of my Sims 3 viewers, when you guys were complaining, or maybe not complaining, but just concerned about how the load screen takes forever at the beginning, your hard drive plays a huge role in that. Sims 3 got some huge files that needs to be ripped through, so this is one of the things that should take care of that. And just to wrap everything up, I picked the cheapest computer case I can find on Newegg. To be honest with you, I'm not really about our goal for this PC is to have a lot of performance and try to save money, as much money as we possibly can. And for those of you who do not know, your computer case does not, most of the time, does not play any role in the performance. Now, if you get into the really upper end computer case, they do sort of offer more what is it called? More heat dissipation. So if you overclock your computer and you're in a really hot room, that would come to play. But for the most part, I think it's a very, very negligible part, since most of you probably won't be overclocking. This case is not bad actually. It's pretty nice. It's got a lot of fans around it. So I basically just picked the cheapest one just to save money. Something that works. At the end of the day, this thing works. So that is what it is. So that concludes our section for the medium build PC. I sure hope you find this video to be quite informative. I tried my best and try to find the best parts for the best value. I've been doing this for a long, long time. I'm only 22, but I've been building computers since I was 7. So I've been in the field quite a long time to know what parts are good for you and what parts are just price tag. So that's one of the big perks when you look at my channel. I try to chew out all of the nonsense out of these marketing scams, schemes, and try to just give you a pure good deal for your money. So anyways, be sure to if you haven't checked out the budget PC, be sure to check that out. It's around $250. If your budget is within that range, check that out. And again, this medium build PC, as I mentioned, at the beginning of the video, it's about $520 or $530. And be sure to look out for my upcoming video, which is the upper end PC. It is what I believe would not necessarily the most pricey computer. When people think about pricey computer, they think about $2,000–$3,000. That's totally unnecessary. The upper end PC, I would think about maybe around $1,000 would be pretty nice. It would take care of most of this stuff. So be sure to look for that video, and please do comment, rate, and subscribe to my channel. I really always enjoy reading comments and feedback from everybody. And please do rate, click the little like button if you do like it. It really helps a lot. It helps promote my channel a lot. And please do subscribe. Subscription numbers really helped me a lot as well. You know, I'm trying to get my channel started, and I really appreciate you guys doing this for me. So anyways, until next time, I'll see you here at tomzang.us. Thanks.